Okay guys, welcome to the fourth video. This is part of our ethics keyword series and we are going to discuss three such important keywords which are perseverance, commitment and discipline. Probably these keywords sounds similar but they are not. They are different and we'll understand them. The moment we understand them, then we effectively can use it in our answer, and therefore the objective, as I told you previously, is score differentiator, right? The moment we use such terms in our answers, the moment we give good arguments, the moment we quote some quotations and give precise examples, that is the moment your script is separate from the others. Okay, perseverance, commitment and discipline, right? Now, we have studied courage of conviction, right? If you have not watched this video, please go and watch that video. It will give you a clear understanding what courage of conviction is. If courage of conviction initiates an ethical action, it is perseverance, commitment and discipline sustain that over lifetime, right? So the job to initiate is courage of conviction, but to sustain it, we need these three values: perseverance, commitment and discipline, right? So this together, they're the synergy of action. Here, there's a synergy of action. Look how it is. We have seen here that courage of conviction. It's the moral trigger is that this is right, and I have the courage and I take action. But what sustains that action? It is your perseverance, that is sustained effort, and commitment, long-term alignment. We will understand all these terms, right? These together comes together and they form daily regulation. That is your discipline. Daily work towards that goal, achieving that particular goal. And as we have studied, the moment it is action oriented, right? We have studied in where? We have studied in character. Like the moment it is action oriented, right? It creates what? It creates this immense sense of fortitude. That whatever comes, I will stick to my action, right? That is dhriti, right? Please refer to your chapter 18 Bhagavad Gita's chapter 18, verse 33. There it talks about dhriti, right? This particular dhriti leads to a consistent ethical life the moment there is consistency. And you have understood when you have studied character, the moment there is consistency, it designs your character. The moment a character is formed, like you are understood by a particular character, people trust you. People gives responsibility to you, right? So the moment a character is formed, people tends to trust you, right? So in this particular journey, the most important here is action. And this particular action, the three components of this particular action is perseverance, here commitment, which together leads to discipline, right? Now let's understand this particular value called perseverance. Guys, in case of public service, right, perseverance is defined as a sustained effort maintained in the face of systemic hurdles. Once you become an officer, you know very well that there will be many hurdles that you will be facing, be it social, political, again, your bureaucratic hurdles, right? One thing which helps you to remain attached to your goal is your perseverance. Whatever it might come, there will be hurdles. I will stick to my goal, right? This is what helps you to do that. That is to persevere in spite of the hurdles, right? And this is very important in case of bureaucracy, because as a part of your bureaucracy, your primary responsibility will be to bring social changes, right? Social transformation. And we know that it takes huge amount of effort, time, right, to bring any social changes, right? In this regard, the most important thing that helps you to remain focused in your goal of bringing social changes, be it reducing poverty, improving the healthcare system, improving the education, or again, in this particular case, in some of the very particular cases, like eradicating manual scavenging, right? In all these cases, the one value that helps you to remain true to your goal is perseverance. Now, another thing you will understand with regards to perseverance, that perseverance comes from within. And it is a stronger predictor of success. That is a stronger predictor of success, in the sense that because it comes from within, you're not relied upon whom? From the external factor, not your parents, not your friends, not the money that is coming to your bank account. You're not relying on those things, right? Perseverance comes, the value comes from within to remain true to your nature, right? Because it comes from within, right? You're not dependent on the external factors. So even if the external factors remove themselves, right, you have still perseverance because it comes from within. So this is a very true indicator of success, right? Perseverance is a very true indicator of success. Okay, so we have understood perseverance. It is sustained effort. But in case of commitment, what it is? Commitment is to remain true to your core values, true to the constitutional values. In case if you're an officer, right, to remain true to your constitutional morality, right? There will be moments when you will be tested based on certain political pressure, some personal issues, right? There you have to remain true to your values, your service values, right? So the deep internal dedication, it's a deep internal dedication to one's duties and steadfast adherence to constitutional vision of justice, equality, and welfare. This is your commitment, right? Commitment to the values, commitment to the goals, commitment to the ideals that resides within you, right? That resides within you. Now, it is very important. Now, because you're committing yourself, right? It is an upstream effort, right? It is an upstream choice. Upstream choices are always difficult choices. You're not wasting time scrolling through Instagram. You're not wasting time going out with your friends. What you're doing, you're committed to your ideals, you're committed to your values. You know that time is of essence. I cannot lose time. So it is, in this case, commitment is essentially an upstream choice. Because it's an upstream choice, it is a difficult choice. But one thing is sure, because it's an upstream choice, right? Because it's a difficult choice, sustained effort, that is perseverance. The moment you use sustained effort, believing, committing to your ideal values or core goals, right? You will be reaching where? You will be reaching to your long-term destination or long-term goals, right? This is very important. This is very important. And the opposite is your habits, the downstream flows, the habits, mindless scrolling through your phones, right? Mindless engaging in wasteful activities, right? So this removes you from your goals, distances you from your goals. Okay, now we have understood perseverance, we have understood commitment. Now let's understand discipline. Now, discipline is what? Discipline is training oneself to adhere to particular code of conduct or to rules to achieve a particular goal. That, for example, you have your UPSC exam right now, right? So you have only barely few days. So you have set a particular code for yourself that, yes, every day I will be giving tests. Probably every day I will be going through the PYQs. It is every day I have to study 12 to 13 hours a day. So this is a code that you have created for yourself, right? It is not a code that I have given you. It is not the code the society has put on you. It is a code that you have created for yourself. Because you have created this particular code for yourself, discipline is what? Discipline is something which you stick to that particular code, right? It is so you adhere to the particular code of conduct or set of rules to achieve a goal. You don't deviate from it, right? Again, you should be knowing motivation is temporary, right? Motivation is temporary, right? What is permanent and what is a short way of achieving your goal is your discipline. And like we have understood, like we have seen that, right? And it will take time. It takes time. Effort, continuous, sustained effort leads to what? Leads to your imagination getting transferred into your goals, right? Okay, now another thing you have to understand, when you're creating a code unto yourself or you're creating a code, you're choosing what? You're choosing Shrey. You're choosing Shrey. What is beneficial but tough? I will not sleep in the afternoon, I'll study, right? It is important, right? It is what? It is beneficial, but it is very tough, right? Like you get drowsy, right? You want to talk to your friends, but this is very important. This is very important that it is beneficial for your preparation, right? And not prayer. Prayer means what? Prayer means that instantly gratifying, right? Let me switch on the mobile phone, let me see some videos, right? It is instantly gratifying, right? Always understand, instantly gratifying or dopamine laced activities, actions, right? And the long term does not yield results, right? Discipline is something what? Discipline is always choosing Shrey over prayer, right? Discipline is what? Discipline is grounded in ability to leave one's comfort zone. The moment you move out of your comfort zone, moment you make yourself take tough choices and stick to it, right? then you will be nearer you. Okay, now guys, let's understand some of the examples of perseverance. Now, in case of perseverance, who better than KJ Alphonse, right? We have seen he was one of the premier IS officers who led this mass literacy movement in Kerala, right? And because of his sustained effort, perseverance. Remember, perseverance means what? Sustained effort. Kottayam town in Kerala is often cited, right? It is often cited. It is often cited as achieving 100% literacy earlier in 1989. Right? And what did he do? Perseverance in action, community mobilization, voluntary networks, follow-ups over time. So this is perseverance. This is like, I'll not stop. There will be hurdles. I'll not stop. And not only that, what did he do? Persisted despite dropout, social barriers, and initial resistance. Look, this is the resistance that he was facing, but he persisted. What I will do? There is problem. I know there are dropouts. I know there are social barriers, but I will make sure that there is community mobilization, there is voluntary network placed, there are follow-ups over time, right? This made sure what? This made sure that in 1989, there are many districts which does not even have 60 or 70% literacy. But in 1989, Kottayam achieved this 100% literacy and was declared the title of Akshara Nagari, or City of Letters, right? City of Letters. Remember that. Okay guys, let's see an example of commitment. So Max Weber's analysis of Protestant ethic. So he analyzed the Protestant ethic, like very rigorous ethic. Like we see such images, right? Protestant ethic. Now what he said was that he highlights that the religious commitment where worldly labor is viewed as calling. Right, worldly labor, that the work that the people are doing, it is seen as a calling towards God, right? And it is termed as biruf. So you can quote this particular term in your exam, right? You can quote this particular term in your exam. And in this particular framework, work is not merely a task. It is not a task, but an ethical obligation and a path to spiritual assurance. Here, religion, work, and spirituality, they are related, right? Because they are related, you have seen that there is a huge, one of the reasons of Protestant ethic, one of the reason of industrial revolution was this Protestant ethic. One of the reason for industrial revolution in England and in Western Europe was this Protestant ethic. Okay guys, example of commitment. Now it is from our own bureaucracy, IS Kirti Jali. She walked through deep knee mud in Kachchar district, Assam, to personally reach flood affected areas where vehicles could not pass. Now, what she said was that if people cannot reach the administration to collect the welfare, the administration will go to the people. Now, this is the level of commitment. When if the people cannot go to the administration will go to the people, right? This shows the level of commitment. Yes, there was physical hardship. Yes, there was problems, but she stuck true to her core belief to help people. The last and very well-known examples. Look, there are certain examples, there are certain keywords, there are certain values which perfectly fits with our erstwhile bureaucrats, right? In this particular case, E. Sridharan, we very well know that he's the metro man of India, right? He was given responsible building Delhi metro system, right? And how did he do it? Sustained the discipline, right? Procedural discipline. He made sure that the things are completed within the timeline, right? So again, one of the best example of discipline would be your E. Sridharan, right? He delivered his task, he delivered his objective in time.